Welcome to another video and to another organ. Today I'm at Lynesack Parish Church near Barnard Castle in County Durham to look at this two-manual tracker action organ. Firstly, if you haven't been to this channel before, my name's Paul and I visit pipe organs all over the place wherever I can get in. So if you're interested in pipe organs and you would like to join me on some of these visits, please hit the subscribe button, it's down there somewhere. I would be ever so grateful. But without further ado, let's have a look at this organ. So this organ was built in 1901 by Nelson & Co. of Durham. It is, as you can see, a two-manual organ. It is a tracker action throughout, and it does have an awful lot of stops. It's a lovely church, a lovely little village which I didn't even know existed, so I'm really keen to see what this organ sounds like. I've never played it before, so this is a new experience probably to all of us. So let's start by having a look at the stops on the grate, which are here on the right, and that is the bottom manual. So it looks like this organ has been tuned and maintained over the years by Brian Brighton, who has now retired, so I'm not sure when it was last tuned. It could be way out of tune, I don't know, because I haven't played a note yet. But we're going to start here on the bottom stop, which is an 8-foot open diapason. An 8-foot plays at the same pitch as a piano. Pretty good so far. Bit of a rattly tracker action, that's okay, it's getting on a bit. Next we have a diapason, I think it says chimney. Maybe you would help me in the comments, what does that mean? I think that is just a stop diapason. We do have a note off there. Next we have a dulciano, which is also 8 foot. Followed by a 4 foot, which is labelled as just a flute. Pretty quite nice and bright, I like that. We have the principal, which is a 4 foot. We've got a few notes off here and there. I suspect that's the cold and the damp. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But that was the 4 foot principal. Next we'll go actually to the 2 foot 15th, which is really nice to have. Let's try that with the open diapason. The principal. That sounds pretty bright and cheerful, which you would expect, I suppose, with that 2 foot 15th. You know I like 15ths and I'm really pleased to see that. But even better we have a mutation on this organ. We have a 12th, which is obviously a 2 2/3 on its own. Let's try that with the 15th, which creates that 2-rank mixture effect, and with the open diapason. And the principal. Final stop on the grate. At the very top here we go back to an 8-foot. I suspect at some point this was a reed. Again, I don't know. The details of this organ will be in the description, by the way, on the National Pipe Organ Register link. You can have a look at that for more information that I don't cover on this video. But the very top, as I say, is an 8-foot open diapason. Let's compare that to the bottom open diapason. So I think effectively we have an open diapason 1 and 2 there. Why they would stick that open diapason at the top, I'm a little bit baffled. It would be nicer to have a reed or something there. Perhaps you can help me in the comments, offer me your suggestions. Why would they put an open diapason at the very top when we already have one at the bottom? And if it is a 1 and 2, they're not massively different. So comments please, I appreciate that. But let's have a look, let's try something on the grate. Okay, it's quite bright, it's a little bit out of tune, but you would expect that. It looks like it wasn't tuned, it hasn't been tuned since 2019, so 6 years ago. Let's have a look at the pedal stops while we're here on the right. I'll start by saying that the pedal board is a straight concave pedal board. There are 3 combination pedals, I'm guessing operate the grate stops. They do in crescending order. And there is also a centralized ratchet swell pedal. We'll try that out when we get to the swell obviously, but there are 2 stops here on the pedals. There is a 16-foot Borden. It's not bad. And there is an 8-foot flute. Not super beefy, but it's pretty nice. You might be able to see from the images that there are what I assume are pedal pipes at the very end of the organ looking out into the congregation, and the rest will be at the very back of the organ. They don't come out very much actually, they're not very loud, but they're effective and they do the job. A stop that I did miss here on this side is a tremulant. Whether it works or not, I think it does, I can hear it. Let's try it with the Dulciana. I'm not sure it does actually. but there is a stop for a tremulant. Let's have a look at the swell. So the stops for the swell are here, obviously on the left. Starting at the very bottom, we have an 8-foot open diapason. Let's take that pedal. Box open. I'm not a big fan of ratchet swell pedals by any means, but the fact that that one's centralised rather than tucked away on the right or the left makes it a bit more usable, I think. And it's pretty effective. I can hear it working away. We have a Vox Celeste. This will be interesting. It's an 8-foot. Let's try it on its own. Very out of tune. That seems to stop at Tennessee. And we have a Viol de Gamba on its own. 8-foot, sorry. So let's see how that sounds if we add the Vox Celeste as well. Obviously the Vox Celeste is tuned either slightly sharp or slightly flat, and that creates that undulating sound, that slight beat. So we're going to keep out the Viol de Gamba and pull out the Vox Celeste and see if we get that undulating effect. We certainly do get that effect. Unfortunately, it is massively out of tune. So it's difficult to work out the difference between whether it's out of tune or whether it's undulating as it should. But that would be lovely if it was in tune. Next, we have another 8-foot, and this is a Lieblich Gedackt. Let's try with the open. And the final flue stop on the swell is another 4-foot principal. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but a 4-foot sounds an octave higher than you would expect it to sound on a piano. That's with the Gedackt and the open. Pretty nice swell, unfortunately it's just out of tune. We do have 2 more stops on the swell, which unfortunately are taped off. I'm assuming they don't work or they are too out of tune to use. They are the 2 reeds. One of them is a horn and the other, I think it's an oboe. They are taped off. Let's just try the horn. It does pull out. Yeah, a lot of notes off, but it gives you a taste of what they sound like. Yeah, pretty unusable because obviously a lot of the notes are off. Maybe a tuning visit would sort that out, and I don't know. And finally, an oboe that doesn't pull out, but I'm going to sneakily pull it out and see what happens. C&E works, but again, gives you a taste of what it sounds like. So yes, unfortunately the reeds are pretty unusable, but barring the reeds, let's try something on the swell, see what it sounds like. Pretty out of tune, but it's quite a pleasant swell actually, if it was in tune, but it's canny. Also, very briefly, to let you know that there are 3 couplers, exactly what you would expect. Swell and grate to pedal, and the manuals coupled the swell to grate. And that's pretty much this organ. It's quite interesting that this bench, you probably can't see it from there, lifts up for the organist to crawl into, and there is a small staircase that leads up to the console, so it's almost like a little organ loft, and it has some curtains that slide behind the organist for privacy, which I would really love that at the church that I play at, because I eat a lot of biscuits at church, and that would disguise my goings on. So let's try something on the full organ and see what it sounds like. But overall, this is a lovely organ. It just needs an awful lot of work doing. It needs a blooming good tune, and it's a lovely church. I am ever so grateful to Lloyd, who is a retired vicar who has kindly come along here to let me in. I'm now off to 2 other churches. Lloyd has also let me into those churches to have a look at the organs. I'm not sure what they're like either. I haven't been before. But thank you to him for his time. Thank you for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, I would be ever so grateful if you would hit that subscribe button and join me on these visits. And until next time, until the next organ, I shall see you later. Bye for now.